Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmatacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avataravarishthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. Om Gajananam Bhudaganati Sevitam Kabitthajambhufalasarabhakshitam Umasudam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Jnanarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidyushavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hidarthaya Tattwabodho Bhidiyate. We are now coming to the concluding part of Tattwabodha. This is the introductory text, one of the profound kritis of Adi Shankara Bhagavad-pada. That is helping us to know the sum and substance of the Veda Upanishads at one side, the other side, the terms and terminologies that are required to understand the subject, the Vedanta. So this text is helping us in two ways. One way, it is helping us to understand the Vedanta Rahasya, the core subject of the Veda Upanishads. The other side, the text is helping us to know what exactly is that? Know the terms, terminologies which are used. Correct? So we are now coming to the last part of this text. The last part we have seen what are the three types of karma. If you can recap the the topics. The first part is the qualifications, adhikaratva. What qualities or qualifications are needed for one to know the self, know the tattva, know or learn the scriptures. What are the qualities needed for one? What are the qualities needed in one to have the scriptural studies? When I say scriptural studies, to know who truly are you. Correct? That is where we have seen the adhikaratva, the qualities or the qualifications are needed. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampat, called as discrimination, dispassion, desire and discipline. Then the second part we have seen the analysis of jiva, analysis of the microcosm, or we can say it's the vyashti. And the third portion is the analysis of macrocosm, analysis of jagat. So when we did the deeper analysis of Vyashti and Samashti, the fourth topic comes as the essential oneness of both. Essential oneness of microcosm and the macrocosm. Essential oneness of Jiva and Ishvara. Essential oneness of Jivatma and Paramatma. Essential oneness of Samashti and Vyashti. This is the fourth topic. And fifth topic is the Bhalam. When you understand the essential oneness, what exactly is the Bhalam? What exactly is the outcome that one can get in life? So the outcome is all about creating inner freedom in us, so called as the moksha, so called as the fundamental goal in life, so called as inner freedom or moksha or the liberation. And that liberation happening in this life, in this janma, with this body. So this is the freedom that one gets. This is the bhalam, this is the outcome. These are the 5 topics. So now we are coming to the last part. In fact, the last portion we are again going through and trying to understand the remaining topics in the last section. So now we are in the area of the 3 karmas. If you are able to recollect the last session, the 3 karmas. Page number 123. Let us see the verse. Karmani kadividhani santiti chet agami sanjida prarabdha bhedena trividhani santi. So, what are the 3 kinds of karma? This is the question. What are the 3 kinds of karma? The 3 karmas are sanjidam, agami and prarabdham. Sanjidam, as we have seen last time, sanjidam is the accumulated karma vasanas. Accumulated or stored. It is like our deposit, bank deposit. And you can appreciate it. Like if the FD gets matured versus FD just got started. Correct? So the FD which is getting matured, we can use it as it is, right? With the benefits coming. That meaning the interest that is coming or getting accumulated on the top of the FD. When it gets matured, we can use it. Correct? But if we have or if we started an FD today and assume that it's after 1 year, there is a tenure. After that tenure only you get the benefits. So similarly, if you can think like your sanjidam is like the bank balance. That includes some savings, some fixed deposits, some mutual funds, whatever is it. Correct? So that is your reserve. This is your accumulation. And prarabdham is what? Prarabdham is something like it is matured, it is ripened. It has to get fructified. So out of the balance that we have, out of the reserve, certain karmas are taken and those karmas are supposed to get fruitioned or fructified in this janma. So such karmas are called prarabdha karma. And prarabdha karma is all about certain things are destined to happen in this life. Based on the previous karma vasanas and the dominant karma vasanas, certain things are picked up from the sanjidam and these are going to get fructified in your current janma. Before the body comes into picture, certain things are picked up and based on that the prarabdham will happen. Meaning the result of the things which you have executed in the past and those things are supposed to get fructified, will come as the prarabdha. Clear? And we cannot escape from the prarabdha. Certain things are already destined. And now what is agami? Agami is the third karma, the third kind of karma. Agami is basically yet to come. Meaning, when you progress in this life, new things will come. They are yet to come. They are going to arrive. They are arriving. So these three karmas are there, three types of karmas: Sanchidam, Agami and Prarabdha. So now you will ask, why are we discussing this? What are the influences of this karma? Correct? So you'll understand that. Now, question comes, what exactly is Agami karma? As I mentioned, it is accumulated or stored one. But let us see how Tattwabodha defines Agami karma here. Agami karma. Jnanotpatyanantaram jnani dehakridam punya paparupam karma yadasti tadagami ityabhidiyate. Jnanotpatti anandaram jnani dehakridam punya paparupam karma yadasti tad agami ityabhidiyate. So what is agami now? The result of actions, whether it's good or bad, performed by the body of a realized one. Of a realized one meaning a jnani after the dawn of knowledge is called as agami. This is the definition. So now the question is, why it is described in the context of a jnani? Last time I said this. What we will do is, to understand in detail, we will also look into the law of karma. Once you are clear about law of karma, this concept will be true. So what is law of karma? As you sow, you reap. So every deliberate or willful action that you do will produce outputs. Correct? Every action, every deliberate or willful action that we do will produce two types of outcomes. One is the visible outcome. Other one is invisible outcome. One way we can say drishta bhalam and adrishta bhalam. Let's take a practical example here. Assume that I am helping someone with some monetary support, where that person is in need. What are the visible outcome? What is the visible outcome? What is the invisible outcome? Tell me here in this context.
Visible outcome will be that he will be better off.
Visible outcome is basically the gap that person is having with respect to money or in order to meet the necessity. I am just helping, correct? This is a visible outcome, and that person is able to overcome the trouble, overcome the problem by taking this money. This is the visible outcome. And what is the invisible outcome in this context?
Your intention to.
Two answers are there. Your intention to help and the person feeling gratitude. So your intention to help and the other person feeling gratitude towards you. So both are adrishta. Correct. Maybe the person may say thank you so much. Indeed, this is a great help. But much of the things are adrishta, right? That person probably will have a gratitude. We don't know the depth of gratitude, how often the person will, bring the element of gratitude, how the person's character will get changed while he or she deals with you, etc. These all are adrishtam. And you also feel kind of, a feel-good factor. Yeah, I became a nimittam. Correct? So this is su adrishtam. Su adrishtam, that is the punyam that other person is thinking, and the punyam that you are able to do for that person. So this is invisible. Are you all with me? What is visible? Visible is basically the transaction and the gap that you are filling. But the invisible part is basically the su-adrishtam, basically the punyam that you are getting. And if it is say a bad karma, for example, your intention is to do some harm, there is a visible outcome, right? And there is also invisible outcome. What are the invisible outcomes from both sides? If you are doing and others is getting, affected, there is a dur adrishtam, so called as papa. Dur adrishtam or dur adrishtam. Dur adrishtam, the other one is su adrishtam. Visible part is what? You are hurting the person, right? You are hurting, your action is really hurting the other one, that person is also getting affected. It can be something similar. You are harming that person by, stopping the money or whatever reason which that person is supposed to get. You are hurting the other person, right? There is a tangible thing that can be seen there, and at the same time there is duradrishtam, that is the papa. So here the point is su-adrishtam and duradrishtam, both are invisible. When one does an action, visible outcome, right? Visible outcome can be good or bad. Invisible outcome, that can also be good or bad. Correct? And one of you correctly said, what is the motive of my action? This is also very important. When you say the punyam and papam, what exactly is my motive? If the motive is good and noble, that karma will give punya. And if the motive is not good and noble, that karma will produce papa. Are you all agreeing with me? So for anything that you do, there is a adrishtam and drishtam, and there is also adrishta punyam, adrishta papam, drishta punyam, drishta papam. So all the invisible punyam and papam is accumulated, and over a period of time, that invisible punyam and papam will get converted as visible sukham and dukkham. You will be able to see the invisible punyam and papam becoming as drishta sukham and drishta papam. Right? If you see our life also, sometimes you are doing an excellent job, good job, noble job, you are not harming anybody, but some thing will always come and create trouble. So the answer at that point is basically maybe my past karma or the accumulation of the papam that happened in the past might be reflecting now. Otherwise, I have not done anything. People usually say, I have never done any papam in this janma by hurting or by creating problems. But this is the law of karma. Whatever that got accumulated, that was invisible, probably will become visible as the drishta papam or drishta punya, if it is good. Correct? And one thing we have to understand is, we cannot guarantee when the adrishta punya papam will become drishta punya papam. For example, a papaya seed, if you put it inside the soil and take care, in few days the papaya plant will come, and in 2, 3, 4 months you will get papaya. Whereas if it is a mango seed, how much of time you have to wait to get a mango out of the fruit? Some time. These days hybrid mangoes are there, right? Hybrid saplings you get. In 2 years you will get mango. Or assume that it's a coconut tree. So can we say that the duration of conversion of the adrishta punya papam is not uniform? Because the intensity, the type, etc. varies. So ultimately the duration of conversion will also vary. And some of the punya papam, adrishta punya papam that we already had, may not be fruitioning in the same janma also. That is where the sanjitam, you go back now and understand, it gets stored in the sanjitam. It gets stored in that reserve. And if one has to fruition certain things, a birth is needed. Because some of the things will not get fructified in that janma.
But when the jiva dies, so the jivatma goes back to the karma.
The stula, sukshma, karana shariram. 3 things are there. Correct. The karana shariram is having all these traits. Correct. The karana shariram will hold those vasanas. And for the karana shariram to fulfill those vasanas, it has to come again it has to come again as a human being. Whatever is it, it has to come again to fructify. But the pure consciousness is not having any connection with this, because it is all about these vasanas are where these vasanas are stored in which shariram? It's in the causal body.
Causal.
Are you all with me? So no one can escape from the law of karma.
So
And
the causal body keeps taking birth.
yes.
And any atma is any.
Atma is Anvaya Vidirega, it has no connection. But the vasanas to get fructified, right? The manifestation has to happen, and the manifestation will not happen without Chaitanya. So the matter principle alone cannot. Even the Karana Shariram is matter principle. Stula, Sukshma, Karana Shariram are the material world. Atma, Satyam, Tada, Anyat, Mithya idi. Including the causal body, gross body, subtle body, all are Mithya. For the Mithya to fructify, Satyam should come. So that is where the consciousness, so the causal body takes a birth. And birth cannot happen without the conscious principle. So the conscious principle is the substratum, the material principle gets superimposed, and we take a birth, we take a janma.
And when we attain moksha, then after that.
There is no left out karma. Today we will see that what is happening for a jnani. But how these karmas will go away. So no one can escape from the cosmic moral order or law of karma. Simple. And the cycle of birth and death is caused by what? Cycle of birth and death is caused by what? It's the law of karma. Based on the law of karma, the cycle of birth and death happens. And again, please understand that this is not to say about the law of karma alone. Whatever disparities that we see in life around us, why people are different, everything is explained by law of karma. The quantity of punyam, papam, the quantity of traits, dominant traits, dormant traits. So our Sanadana Dharmam, the Siddhantam always say that law of karma is the deciding factor for anyone. And this understanding of law of karma will help us in different ways. One way is basically accept the problem as it is.
But the causal body could be born again as a, let's say, a dog or something.
Yeah, based on the punya papam. Based on the punya papam, the quantity of punya papam. If you have done the arjana meaning the accumulation of punyam, you get a human birth. Again, if I go back to Srimad Bhagavatam says, Srishtva Purani Vividhani Jayatma Shaktya Vrikshan Sari Srubapashun Khagadam Shamalsyan Taistairadushta Purusham Vidaya Brahmavalogadishanam Mudamapadeva. Among these different creations, animal kingdom, plant kingdom, all those, human beings are the most profound. Why? Because human beings can only attain the Brahmarjanam, the Brahma Avalogadishanam Mudamapadeva, to explore the higher dimensions of existence. Even animals cannot do that, or plants cannot do that. And the verse further says, Lebdva sudurlabham idam bahu sambhavande. It is very rare to get a human birth. Rare chance to get a human birth until and unless you are a Sukriti. And again, those who get the human birth doesn't mean that they will attain the moksha. They will come out of the death birth cycle. They all will be trapped. Only few will go to that level and understand the profound dimensions that are within, so called as the Atma Sakshatkaram. Only few will get equipped. Few only will go to that level.
So when we say trapped, again we are talking about the cosmic.
Huh?
When we say trapped, they are again trapped in the cycle of
Samsara, yeah, the death birth.
So we are talking again about the cosmic.
Yes, yeah.
So the causal body, will it die when one person dies? Whether the causal body will also get expired or it will carry on?
No, the causal body should have it, because those imprints or impressions should be there, right?
So it will get attached along with the Atma.
Yeah, it will. It has to be there. It has to exist, correct? And that will come based on the dominant traits. For example, certain karma vasanas are there which are not fructified. So to fruition that, the causal body has to come back in the form of a manifested being. And how soon and all, it is not easy to prescribe or predict. As I mentioned, it all depends upon the punya papa arjanam. Maybe soon the causal body can come back and take a human form, or many years later, or maybe in a superior way based on the last janma, or an inferior way based on the last janma. So there are a lot of possibilities. Is that clear?
Yeah. So whatever we are doing, whatever it is getting justified in the next janma, whether that is also agami karma?
No, because certain things are already done. When the body is left, there is no more agami, because you are not doing any karma in the absence of a body. So whatever is done till the body is ceased, that is agami. After that, those agamis ultimately is getting added into sanjidam. So what is left out is only sanjidam. And in that sanjidam, what are the dominant traits, what are the dominant attributes that should be fructified, that will be chosen as the prarabdham for the next janma. Is that clear?
Now my question is that in that agami karma, whether it is for every human birth, is there agami, or it is only for the like after the jnana, somebody who got liberated only has this?
No. Somebody who has got liberation, there is no agami, because with the knowledge, sanjidam, agami, both will not exist for a liberated person. We'll come to that topic today. If you can wait for some more time, we will discuss those portions today, how it happens for a jnani. Okay, so we'll come to that. Yeah, I think I stopped you. You were asking.
Previous janmas karma, whether the person will be knowing in the next janma.
No, if you start knowing that, then it will be a big mess, right? For example, in the past janma, I mean, someone was indebted to me, etc. Right? You will be able to trace out in the last janma this has happened, or if you know the whereabouts of the birthplace, etc. Right? So that is how humans are designed. Every manifestation is designed in such a way that very bare minimal smriti of the last janma is there. Very bare minimal. In very rare chances, few jnanis who are going to take one more birth and conclude, they maybe little bit of knowledge will be there. There are lot of stories we can see, but technically we are designed like not to have any smriti of purva janma. That is how all manifestations are designed. Otherwise, it will be a big mess. See, in the current janma itself, we are having a lot of fights, right? We have a lot of problems with people, etc. So, if we are able to know our previous janmas and the associations, etc., then it will be a big mess. So, that is how we all are designed. But the vasanas will be there. So, that is where the sanjidam will have it, right? No vasanas will go until and unless with knowledge you kill all the vasanas. So we will see that today. So the law of karma ultimately will help us in terms of accepting the situations as it is. You will never ask why it happened to me, why me alone, why I am alone suffering, whereas others are really enjoying, etc. Such questions will not come. I know that person is doing more papam in this janma itself, but that person is enjoying. But why am I suffering? These kind of questions will come if you don't know the law of karma. So no blaming of world. This is the fundamental change that will happen to us when we know the law of karma. And there will not be any problems in having faith in the higher principle. Because people usually ask why God has punished me, why God is experimenting with me. These kind of questions will not come because God has no connection here. It is our own creation. So with the knowledge of law of karma, we will have an increased faith in that higher principle. That will never get shaken. Because I know the law of karma based on my past deeds, janma, papam or punyam, whatever is it. But you have got a full control of how the future should be. Right? You have got the full control of whether to suffer in life in this janma or not. So if you are clear about these the papam coming in this life is due to my remote or past actions, which I don't remember now. But I have a control on whether I should get suffered in this life or not. That freedom is there, that free will is there, that choice is given to all of us. So I can control my future, correct? Whether I should get bonded with the problems, I should get suffered or not, I do have the control. I don't need to get suffered. I don't need to get into that.
So each causal body, Sanjidan, right, is a unit, let's say.
Yes.
So, but the population is increasing.
Hmm.
So whatever was the number of Sanjidams previously,
Hmm.
and the number of Sanjidams now,
Hmm.
I mean the number of Jivas now,
Hmm.
they don't match, right? I mean,
See, if you see this Srishti, anyone knows about the type of species, be it in the plant, animal, human kingdom? Tell me. Huh. There is no limit. One cannot justify based on that why human population is increasing. We cannot, because the animals, plants, humans. And it's all about the type of creations, and we don't have any idea about exactly how many species, how many kinds of creations, and again inside one category of creation, how many variants, etc. So the law of karma again will equip us to, say that my life is fatalistic. I do have my own free will in order to overcome the problems in life. So now let's go back. The adrishta punya papam in the sanjidam ultimately will become as prarabdham in the next janma. Unfructified and dominant traits in the sanjidam will get equipped in terms of choosing some of the dominant traits and give a new birth, and those traits ultimately will become as the prarabdha. Correct? Are you all with me? And again the new birth, the new janma is there. This is a path. In that you will also gather new things. Agami, which will again produce punya babam. Now please understand that agami and prarabdham are the ones who give the life experiences. Agami and sanjidam are the ones who will give the life experiences. Am I right? Prarabdham, we are executing certain things, and you also gather something. So this is basically, these both are giving different life experiences. And prarabdham should get exhausted. For example, if I am a gold merchant, correct? And this is the prarabdham. And at some point of time, maybe this job or this duty or this work may also get exhausted. If I decide, okay, after some time, no more, I'm done. So the prarabdham will get exhausted. Correct? And again, if I think that, no, I should become a big merchant, I should become a big businessman, right? Maybe the body may not allow, but still that dominant thought will be there. The agami will ultimately get settled as the sanjida. Correct? So, please understand that some of the agamis which are coming in the due course of life ultimately will join the sanjidam. Because the body, there is a limited time frame for this body. After some time, the body has to go back. Correct? If those agamis are becoming very, very, very dominant, ultimately it will go back and get settled as the sanjidam, and in order to fructify those things, again the birth has to be taken. Are you all with me so far?
causal body, what is it called again?
Karana Sharira. Okay, then question is, what is Sanchita Karma? Sanchita Karma Kim? Page number 125. Sanchita Karma Kim? Ananta Kodi Janmanam Bijabhudam Yad Karma Jadam Purvarjidam Tishtadi Sanchidam Nyeyam. The results of the actions performed in the previous births are in the seed form and giving rise to endless births in future. And these are called accumulated or Sanchita Karma. Or we can say the capital karma. Can we call it as capital karma? So it's the capital fund. This is the accumulation. What is Sanchidam? Sanchidam is the result of actions performed in the previous births, and whatever we gather in the current birth as the Agami, ultimately joining as the capital karma, will cause or will lead to giving rise to different births and deaths. And until and unless you act on it, this will become endless. Clear? Now the question is, what is Prarabdha Karma? Page number 126. Prarabdha Karma Kimidi Ched Idam Shariram Utpadya Ihaloge Evam Sukha Dukkadi Pradam Yat Karma Tat Prarabdam Bhogena Nashtam Bhavati Prarabdha Karmanam Hoga Devakshaya Idi. So, the actions happening in the form of Drishta Punya Papam, and that can only be destroyed, or that can be destroyed only by enjoying or suffering. Certain things are already destined in this Janma. Correct? And those things ultimately will come as the Drishta Punya Papam for this Janma. And this can only be consumed. How? By enjoying or suffering. This cannot be changed. So what I get in this life is the gift. That is where there is a proverb saying that this is the present. What I get is the gift. Whether you like it or not, it is the gift. So now I have got the freedom to do what? What I want to do with that. So Swami Chinmayananda ji says that what I get is his gift, Lord's gift. And what I do with that is a gift to the Lord. What I get is my gift to him, my gift to the Lord. The summary is freedom from bondage of actions. Whatever happens as prarabdham, we should have freedom in life, freedom from bondage of actions. So now the question will come, how one can deal with the three karmas, Sanchidam, Agami and Prarabdham. Correct? So now let us see the page number 129.
I am not able, not able to understand that Chinmayananda's was not gift to God.
What I get is gift to me.
Gift to
right.
me. Okay, agreed.
And what I do with that, what I do with that. See, God has designed certain gifts for you. Gifts in the form of whatever is good, bad, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And what I get out of those gifts is the gift back to the Lord. Meaning what? How do I deal efficiently?
How do I take it up?
How do I take it up? If I take it up as a kind of, misery in life. This is basically the prarabdham, and you are not utilizing your capabilities in life. You give a bad gift back to the Lord, but if you are able to overcome, if you are able to use your own free will, you are becoming a better person, and ultimately you give a better gift back to Lord.
So again, when we are talking about Lord, we are talking about the Brahman.
Yeah, the conscious power. So now the question is coming: how one can get the freedom from the bondage of actions? Right? Sanjidam karma brahmevahamidi nischayatmaga jnanena nashvati. Very, very profound. Nischayatmaga jnanena nashvati sanjidam karma brahmevahamidi. What is the jnanam? Brahmevahamidi. I am Brahman alone. I am this consciousness principle. With that firm knowledge, only one can destroy the sanchita karma. When you say, I am this Brahman, Brahman is not having any kalangam, meaning no stains, no impurities, meaning there is no enjoyership, there is no doership, there is no attachment, there is no aversion. The pure consciousness is beyond everything. And if I am this pure consciousness, where is the question of the kalangam, the karma vasana getting accumulated? So, the balance that goes into if for example, there are two aspects to be understood. With this knowledge, you will not get, or you will not add accumulation, or you will not add punya papam, adrishtam, drishtam, etc. into the sanjidam. And in the agami also, you are not going to add anything, because the karma vasanas are getting distracted then and there itself. So if the knowledge is that I am this Brahman, it's all about removing the false notion of small I, the ego. So far the ego is playing the major role. If the person has identified the true nature as the capital I, not the small ego I. The capital I, meaning when there is the question of the karma vasanas getting. In another way we can say, the original consciousness, my nature is the original consciousness. So where is the question of reflected consciousness and reflected medium playing the mischief? So there is no role for mind, there is no role for body to accumulate the karmas.
So then the causal body basically just goes away. Once you attain moksha, causal body.
You are destroying the sanjidam with knowledge. There is no, the causal body ultimately will be clean. There is no karma to get fructified. There is no necessity to take a birth. Maybe we can say the entire capital of actions become null and void. It cannot give any further results. Maybe analogy what we can use is the roasted seed. Have you seen roasted seed? Coffee seed or any roasted seed, maybe the rice roasted. Will you be able to sow it? Will paddy plant will come out of a roasted seed? Similarly, the entire capital of actions, so called as the sanchidam, becomes roasted with this knowledge. What is the knowledge? I am this Brahman, I am this pure consciousness. There is no accumulation coming to that consciousness in the form of raga, dvesha, kartrutva, bhoktrutvam. Ultimately, what happens? The accumulation will become null and void, because the jnanam destroys the capital of actions. So the causal body of a vice is destroyed by the knowledge of the self. Causal body of a vice is destroyed by the knowledge of the self, What is that knowledge? I am this Brahman, I am this Purnam, I am this Chaitanya, I am this consciousness principle. There is no Kalangam, there is no Adhya Aropanam. There is no influence of body, mind, intellect, senses. There is no question of reflected consciousness and reflected medium playing any mischievous role. I am clear because I am the pure consciousness. And what happens is basically the subtle and gross body merges into the constituents, because everything, if you see the Stula, Sukshma, Karana, Shariram, from where they are coming from the Prakriti. That is what we have seen. What happens? The subtle and gross will go back into the original constituents, and the causal body, there is nothing. There are no vasanas remaining. All vasanas are burned with the fire of knowledge. So there is no accumulation. The bank deposit will become null, void. So then the question will come, what happens to Agami, what happens to Prarabdha? These are the questions. Sanchidam is destroyed with the knowledge of fire. Roasted.
So Sanchidam is kind of like the Papka Ghada. It's like
Huh.
the Ghada.
Huh.
So Ghada is destroyed.
So now the question is, what will happen to Agami, what will happen to Prarabdha? Let us see, what will happen to Agami. Agami karma abhi jnanena nashyati kim cha agami karmanam nalini dalagada jalavat jnaninam sambandho nasti. So Agami will also get destroyed by knowledge. And you may ask, how can I will not be able to run away from this world. Yeah, don't need to run away. The wise will never get affected by it. You can appreciate the analogy of a lotus. Nalini dalagada jalavat jnaninam sambandho nasti. How a lotus leaf is not affected by the water. Maybe in Vedantic term, it's called as asparsha yoga. How one is not getting affected by the agami karma when you are executing the prarabdha. You are not creating further desires. You are not creating further kalangam out of the karma. That is ragam, dvesham, kartrutvam, bhoktrutvam. There is no notion of doership or enjoyership. For the sake of transaction, you still need a doership. For example, if you are talking, you are the speaker. That is for the sake of transaction. But the notion out of that is not getting accumulated into your inner plane. There is no doership, there is no enjoyership. Those notions are not propagated into your inner plane. Just for the sake of transactions, you must be using those. But there is no accumulation, so that the accumulation ultimately through the agami will go into the sanjidam. Already sanjidam is destroyed with knowledge. There is no question of accumulation happening through the agami again with the knowledge. So then what will happen in that case? Nothing will happen. But how will you deal with the prarabdha? You cannot run away. The prarabdha has to get exhausted. There is no suffering, but whatever is destined to happen, it will just get exhausted. Maybe you can see the stories of jnanis having different diseases and all, because their prarabdha is like that, but they are never getting affected, right? They are just there is no suffering there. They are just exhausting the prarabdha, but they are untouched. How a lotus is untouched in the water, they are untouched. They are still in the water. This lotus is still in the water, untouched, but never gets wet.
It's like the body is suffering, but the mind is not, or the atma is not suffering. Because, and you keep mentioning those four, right? What we need to get rid of.
Raga, Dvesha, Kartrutva, Bhoktrutva.
So Raga means anger.
Desire.
Desire.
Hmm.
Then is rage.
Aversion.
Aversion.
Huh.
Desire, aversion.
Enjoyership. Enjoyership. Bhoktrutvam. Kartrutvam is doership. Hmm. Doership is basically I am doing, due to me it is happening. Huh. These all are ego. The small I. The small I. This is the aspects of small I. So the small I has no influence into the inner realm. The small I has to be used for the transactions, but you are guided by the big I. So where is the question of the traits which are happening through the small I getting into the inner plane where you are clear about your own power, your own potential. Now, coming to the next verse, page number 132. Kim cha ye jnaninam stuvandi bhajanti archayanti tan pradi jnanikridam agami punyam gacchadi ye jnaninam nindandi dushandi dukkha pradanam kurvanti tan pradi jnanikridam sarvam agami kriyamanam yadavachyam karma papatmagam tad gacchadi suhrudah punyakrityam durhrudah papakrityam grannanti. So now this is very simple. What happens? See, those who praise or serve or worship the wise, the people who go with the jnanam of a jnani, the one who appreciates the jnanam of a jnani, the one who praises the jnanam of a jnani, the one who worships the jnani, they get the results of good actions done by the wise.
Basically, if you follow a good guru, then
You attract that positivity. You get a share of that jnanam. You get a share of the good actions of the guru. And the guru should be Tattwajnani, Shrotriyan, Brahmanishtan. The guru should be a realized one. And the good actions of that guru will automatically get transferred to the one who are in the company of that guru. And again, those who criticize, hate or cause a problem or a trouble to that wise, what will happen? Will get the results of the sinful actions, if any, done by the wise. Probably you attract the negativity of the guru, if any. If you praise, if you hate, if you criticize, if you cause any trouble. This is the law of attraction, right? You think good about a person, that person will obviously think good about you. This is the law of attraction. If you think bad about, right, obviously you will also get a bad circumstances or situations, right? In this case, a guru who is a Shrotriyan, Brahmanishtan, a Brahmajnani, in the company of a guru, you get the good attributes of that guru. Vice versa, if you are in the bad association, obviously the bad things will also come to you. And if you talk anything bad about a Tattwajnani, obviously any sin which is there in that Jnani will come to you. It's all about, the what is the right word? The law of attraction. Sharing Pabam and Punyam.
it's true not only for following somebody who is Tattwajnana, but also with respect any person, right? I mean, let's say I follow a guru who is not like the enlightened one, let's say.
Those vasanas will come.
Yeah.
Those vasanas will come.
Yeah. This is like basically irrespective of whether the guru is somebody who has attained moksha or not.
Huh. So that is where, if you see in our Sampradayam, the guru initially to start with an external guru, one who is a trigger. Ultimately that tattva has to get deep rooted in all of us, because Ishwaro Guru Atmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murte Nama. Or the Guru has to evolve in us. Ultimately, that Guru is the one who becomes the source of light. So if you understand Guru as a Tattvam, you will be able to come out of the problems with a particular person, so-called Guru. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to get the jnanam, correct? Never run after the personality of a person.
Think about Guru as an abstract and not necessarily as a person.
That is where we can see a lot of stories in Bhagavatam, like some of the birds or animals or insects becoming the Guru. 24 Gurus in Srimad Bhagavatam, we can say that. Right? Some our own life experiences become a Guru. Shastram becomes a Guru. So that is how. This is the law of attraction, and the last verse is Tada Chatmavit Samsaram Tirtva Brahmananda Mihaiva Prapnodi Taradi Shogam Atmavit Idis Srudeha Tanu Tyajaduvak Kashyam Shobajasya Grehedhava Jnana Samprapti Samaye Muktosau Vigadashaya Idi Smrudescha. So, thus, what happens? The knower of self, who is able to cross the samsara, attains the supreme bliss. And here, ihaiva, here itself. And this Shruti says that, Shruti affirms that the knower of self goes beyond all sorrow. That person is beyond the space-time object causation trap. Again, this Shruti says, Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. And again, it is also immaterial to see under what circumstances or what conditions the body of a jnani leaves this earth, or the time or place where jnani leaves the body. Because the liberated is already a Jivan Muktan. Jivan Muktan with that body never give more importance to that body, because already that person is liberated. The soul is liberated. So what happens? The next is what? From the Jivan Mukti to Videha Mukti. This body has to go. So with the Videha Mukti, the soul is liberated. There is no necessity to take another birth. So it is very immaterial that, how the jnani leaves the body. Where, on what tidhi, on which place or at which place.
Here they say Kashyam, so like in Kashi.
Wherever is it, it doesn't matter. Because the body is immaterial. And this comparison is from where? This comparison is from the pure standpoint of an ignorant man. This comparison is from the standpoint of an ignorant man. Because the ignorant people will compare. What happened? Oh, when that Guru attained Samadhi, is it during Dakshinayana or Uttarayana? Is this an auspicious day, etc.? So for a Jivan Mukta, nothing has to be, taken care of the body. Doesn't mean that you will not take care of the body. It's clear. The jnanam is, prevalent in Jivan Mukta. So ultimately, the real liberation meaning there is no prarabdham when the body is gone, right? So even the prarabdham will also go when the body goes back to the system. So that is where that jnani becomes a Videha Mukta. Then there is no necessity to take a birth. Sanchidam, Agami, both destroyed with the help of knowledge, and Prarabdham has to be exhausted. In this Janmam, with this knowledge, the Jivan Mukta Avastha is reached, and ultimately when the body goes, the Videha Mukti is also there, then there is no necessity to take a birth.
Why does it say let the wise man cast off his body in Kashi or in the house of a dog?
So basically, Shobhajan. So if you see, these are the extremes. Kashi considered as the Uttama Sthala, and house of a dog eater. Dog eater is Chandalan. Chandalan is considered as a bad.
Like a butcher?
Not butcher. Chandalan means the one who eats dog. It's considered as a very, inauspicious, right? So a jnani giving, how he says, the jnani, a wise man giving of his body in Kashi or in the house of a dog, it is immaterial because he is already a Jivan Mukta. The body has to go. Where the body, at what time, where exactly, not be worried, because this comparison is from the frame of reference of an ajnani. For a jnani, the body has to go. Already jnanam is prevalent, and in that knowledge the Jivan Mukta is continuing the prarabdha. And the body has to go at some point of time. Let the body go. It doesn't matter whether it's happening in Kashi or at the place of a Chandala. Right? So that is what the sum and substance. Coming to the last verse, iti Tattwabodha prakaranam samaptam. So this ends the prakarana called the Tattwabodham. So now one has to understand the three karmas. One who is shooting an arrow, what you do usually, take the arrow from the quiver and you are trying to shoot. This is Sanjidam, which is the balance, your bag. From the bag you have taken and now you are shooting the one which is already done. This is the prarabdha. Can you take it back?
One
which is already sent. You cannot take it back. You have a control on not to shoot more. You have got a control of Agami. You have got a control of this box or the Sanji. Not to use, exhaust it, throw it out. You have got a control of not to use, or you have got a control to use again. But the one which is already shot, done, there is no control. So Sanjidam has to be burned up with the knowledge. Agami should be avoided with the help of knowledge. Prarabdham has to get exhausted without reacting to it. So our life should also be like that. The way that we should live our life is all about aiming purification of the mind, purification in our life, divinization of our life, purification, divinization. Divinize every aspect of our life. For the sake of transaction, you may have to have the ahangaram. Without ahangaram, you cannot do the transaction. Lokam is all about ahangaram. But your inner plane is no connection with ahangaram. There is no small I in your inner realm. The inner realm is all about big I. The outside plane, probably you have to use the small I, the ego. Because certain doership, enjoyership, attachment, aversion, doing the duty, doing due diligence, Maybe you have to scold, you have to, be straightforward, you may have to warn people, you may have to bring rigor, you may have to ask others' attention to take care. As a part of the karma, you have to do that. But once you are very clear about the self, the true I, then the actions that you do in this life is all about selfless. Because if the real I is known, there is no selfishness coming to that real I. So that becomes ultimately the selfless action that one will be able to do. And everything should be backed up with the knowledge. Only knowledge helps. Jnanam is the real way to achieve kaivalyam. That is the freedom that one can get in this life. This is the ultimate freedom. With that, we will stop here. I will stop the recording. We will take some questions if you have.